Welcome everyone. First of all, to those that are watching on Zoom, can you hear us? Anyone?
Yes.
Can hear us?
Yes, you're loud and clear.
Yes, I've had a thumbs up from Jerry Packman. So yeah, and Maureen. Yeah, brilliant. Okay. So the technology is working. So welcome to everyone. We've set the meeting up so you can hear us and you can see only at the moment myself and Amanda, because that's the way the computer is facing. Hopefully, you should be able to hear everything. And what we will ask everyone to do before they speak, try and introduce themselves so it's obvious to you guys who can't see who's actually speaking. So. Okay, so let's get underway. Welcome everyone. Particularly special welcome to new councillors Beaton and Madsen, Sharon and Nikki. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Having been recently elected. What will be interesting is just talking to people over the last few months. It's still not everyone knows what we actually do and what we're actually responsible for in the parish council. So I thought. Just before we dive into the meeting, is just to have a look at what we do and what we can do and what we can't do. So, just for some information, just let someone in the meeting. Borough Council looks after pretty much planning bins and parks. County looks after social care, roads and schools, and I've always held that we're here to add value to residents, to the residents' experience of living in Shenley. My computer all the time, I'm just admitting people to come into the waiting room. Whilst we're limited on what we can do, we do have the opportunity to influence. And talking of, I can talk about, since my tenure as chairman, going back through my notes over the years, some of the things that we've managed to achieve, just to run through them. So we have got one of the things we were keen to do a few years ago was to secure a long lease from the county council on Pursley Field, because it came to an end, and it was likely to go back to the county council, and the county council could have done anything with it, so they could have sold it off for development or anything else. We then took a long lease on that piece of land for 35 years, and we've now done a sublease to Bournemouth 2000, who train young kids for football. We've created a community library from the old community telephone box. We've funded a new library for the Shenley Primary School. We created an outdoor gym in Harris Lane playing field, together with a bit of money that we received from Tesco's. We managed to establish an active village volunteering group. We've expanded the senior trips from 3 trips a year to 4 a year. We've expanded the annual community events at the Cage. We have introduced Christmas light switch on event. We have pushed for and achieved the resurfacing of particularly London Road and Porters Park Drive. We have created a neighbourhood plan to protect our village. We've established a standalone planning committee now. We have painted streetlights on Porters Park Drive, and in fact today started replacing some of the unsafe ones. And we have installed speed indicator display boards on Porters Park Drive. And hopefully we've got another one to come on Black Lion Hills, Shenley Parish, and also Bell Lane. And we've also increased our funding to Sir Richard Cox charity. So whilst we don't have a lot of statutory responsibilities and we don't have much of a budget, you can see that what we're able to do for the community just makes residents' lives better, and it makes Shenley a better place to live in, that we're all passionate about. I love the role that I do as chairman, but feel that after 6 years in a row, it's time for me to let others to take on the mantle. And as such, I'm not going to be putting myself forward for nomination this year. As I said, I've loved the role. I want to thank our brilliant clerk and all my fellow councillors for helping me to achieve what we've achieved. But now is the time for someone else to take the parish forward. So thank you all for the opportunity over the last 6 years. So to start, to move on to the rest of the meeting. So moving to the first item on the agenda, that's the appointment of the chair of the council for the next municipal year. So, any nominations for anyone wishing to stand?
I would like to propose Nikki as chair.
Okay. Any second? Lovely.
I'd like to propose Rosemary as chair.
Anyone to second?
Sorry, second who?
Rosemary. Done. Justine has. And do you both wish to accept nomination?
I'll let Nikki.
Okay. So we don't need to vote, do we? Yeah. So
Gosh, thank you.
congratulations,
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you
it's-
very
Welcome
much.
back.
Thank you.
welcome back, Nikki. It's well deserved. You've worked your socks off, and I believe you'll continue to do so, and lead everyone forward and the village forward, and very, very best of luck. So
Thank you.
And welcome for winning the award
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
from Hertsmere Borough Council for being the lead in the borough for community work,
Oh,
which
thank
is
you.
very important. And not only that, the work we've done for the local plan,
No, for the neighbourhood plan.
sorry, the neighbourhood plan, which is very important. The work that you've done
Action
for
for clean Shenley.
tidying, keeping Shenley clean. I mean, those are two of the greatest achievements, and there are many others. So well deserved.
All I can say is thank you so much. And I just feel so honoured that you've asked me to do this. I will do the absolute best I possibly can, working with all of you, because we're going to be a super team together, working, doing all we can for the community, because that's what we're here for, to serve the community, do the very best we can. And I know that we'll all work together, and that's what we'll do. Thank you very much indeed.
it's a pleasure. No, welcome. Thank you very much. Just from a COVID, normally I would stand up and Nikki will come and sit here, but it's probably not an appropriate thing here.
Absolutely.
So I apologise for sitting in.
Why don't you take your chair and sit in the chairman's role, and you take your
We'll
chair?
go clean the table.
No,
Nancy is quite strict. Like
Okay, let's turn. Okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's turn the laptop around.
It's a good idea. You stay and see.
Well, in which case do I?
Yeah.
Okay, so we now go into the next appointment, which is the appointment for vice chair of council for the ensuing municipal year. Can I have nominations, please, for vice?
I'd like to propose Annie.
I second that. Does anybody else wish to stand? Can I have one? I'd like to propose Rosemary.
I'm happy to buy to your superior knowledge.
Does that get sent to
Yeah.
Rosemary?
So that's a proposer and a seconder. Yeah, happy to second that. Yeah. So in which case, Amanda, how do we have to proceed if there?
If both are happy to accept the nomination, then we go to a vote.
Annie,
I'd like to
Annie, you accept your nomination.
No, William.
I did, but I just said it, I would bow to Rosemary's, she's got much more experience and knowledge and everything else, so as it was 50-50 with the vice, if you want to be the chair, if you want to be the vice, I'm more than happy to support that. Whatever anyone wants.
Look, at the end of the day, are you standing down? I think I just have to ask you, are you sort of deciding that?
If Rosemary would like to be vice, I will stand down with pleasure.
Okay, right, 2 for me. So, in that case, if nobody else wants to go forward, then Rosemary is appointed as vice.
And I'll leave it as not accepting the nomination. I'll leave it as not accepting the nomination.
Yes, okay.
So then, obviously, next we go, apologies, absence, Morris Bride. Well, he's present actually, isn't he? So that's not, no, so that's not true. So there we go. So
You can only be present in person.
Yeah.
right, okay, so in which case, Amanda knows, you're direct to do the right things. So then we go to, when Amanda's ready, interests. So can I have declarations of interest from councillors for any of the items on the agenda?
Shenley Parish.
Any written requests for dispensation for declarable interests? Any grant requests for dispensation as appropriate? So then we will swiftly then move on, if that's okay, to looking at the committees. So the first one that we've got is the Finance and Budget Committee. So it does comprise of the chair and the vice chair, as councillor ex officios, together with, now we've got here at the moment, Gavin, Anthony, and there can be one other. So who is interested in William? So that's okay, everybody okay with that? Sorry. Yeah, just, oh right, yes, come on, let's go on to. Oh, hang on,
2 more people needed on that.
two more people needed. So who else would like to go on to the committee? The finance committee.
How many people do you want to stick me on my first year? That is what you remain on it. Lovely.
Yeah, I think you're. Yes, because I'm on the list already. So it's so Gavin, yes, Anthony, yes. Right. Yes.
Lovely.
Perfect. So then we move on to the allotments committee. So currently, at the moment, we have got. Actually, do we also have to approve the terms of reference? We do, don't we? Could you? Yes, does everybody agree? Yeah, all good. Right, so that's fine, we've done that. So then if we then go to the allotment committee, and at the moment we have Rosemary Gilligan, Annie Key and Natalie Sussman with 5 invited potholders, don't we? And 1 invited representative of Shenley Horticultural Society. Does anybody else want to go on the allotment committee, or are we fine with it is as it is?
I'm happy to stay on it.
Yeah, what about you? Yeah, excellent. And Annie?
I'm still happy.
Yeah, okay. So I think then we're okay with that now. Approval of terms of reference. Everybody okay with the terms of reference? Yeah, don't want to make any changes, that's fine. So let's move on to the planning committee. So currently at the moment we've got on the planning committee, we have Justin, Rosemary, Annie and Gavin. Obviously I was on but without a vote, but now of course I wish to be on as I have a vote. So but we have always said before that when we had 2 new councillors, it's going to be good obviously to have the new councillors. Oh, is it something that you would like to do? Like to be on?
Yes.
planning committee. So I think is that it? Anybody else wanting to be considered, or have we got the planning committee?
Is everyone remaining on the planning committee who was on the planning committee then? Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're just adding Nikki and Sharon, and one invited is obviously Michael.
Now we go into the terms of reference. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Got that here. Terms of reference. Now, terms of reference. I do know that we do actually want to make a change to the terms of reference, don't we? In terms of so I've got the original here. That we actually want to say when it comes to membership. The planning committee, first line, the planning committee will consist of at least 4 councillors. It can be more. So they're not just 4.
Add the word in at least.
At least, yes. So because at the end of the day there are 4. How many have we got now? 5. There can be more, obviously, but that's where we don't want to limit it to consist of 4. Now, a representative of the neighbourhood plan steering group, we say will at the moment, but we can say can, because obviously we'll have to see whether any of the steering group wish to, because obviously I was the steering group member, but I'm now a councillor, so I'm a council voting member. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Does the neighbourhood plan steering group stay in place now it's been adopted?
Yes, because we will ultimately have to make some changes, Natalie. So the best thing is just to leave it. It hasn't got to do anything.
No.
But yes, but we are ultimately, and obviously we've got to find out more and ascertain when we've got to make the changes. But as it is at the moment, so it's best to leave it sitting. I think, so that it can jump into action as soon as we know when we do need to think about revising the neighbourhood plan. So, but I mean, there's not going to be, apart from the fact that it was agreed that the steering group was agreed by council, the steering group would be able to have a celebratory get together. That was agreed, so we're going to sort of, want to do that sort of when it's convenient for everybody to do that. And obviously we have got Michael, and the thing while we're here at this, reading all the stuff that you have to read about codes of conduct and everything else, I think we do actually need to give Michael the paperwork with regards to code of conduct, because he's on the committee. So if
he is, but he's a different person.
No, it's still reading the thing. It's still a good idea, because at the end of the day, he's on the committee with us, isn't he? And it says that people that are sort of, because it's a committee, not just a working party. So it's just that best that he knows exactly, obviously.
All those things, the code of conduct is available on the website, but I'll email it straight.
Super. Thank you.
Problem.
Thank you.
May I make a suggestion? It says quorum is 3 members. As you increase the number on it, you should increase quorum to 4.
Okay. That sounds sensible. Does everybody agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah. 4. Now what? Hang on. Where do we want to? The other thing that we wanted to put in was in the original version 5 of the terms of reference, and it was a last point that we said, and this actually wording was suggested by you, William. No member of the committee should be involved in either residential, commercial development or estate agency business within the parish council. Now, I have actually, I just find my, where is it? I wondered whether, obviously, that is what actually was put forward by William, but I wonder whether it would be actually better to actually say no member of. Sorry, this is again in the membership. So with terms of reference still, terms of reference, and it's it was when we were looking at the terms of reference.
It was the one that was really large, but this one in terms of reference currently.
Yes. Yes.
But we want, we actually,
Yeah, I think she's proposing to put it back in.
we do want to actually make a change, and I just read what the wording was that William suggested, but we don't want there to be any confusion with regard to the bit residential commercial. In other words, there to be sort of a confusion with regard to a person developing, building, replacing their house or building a house, because that's not a commercial thing, it's building a house for that particular person. We don't want that to be sort of an issue. So we think that it would, but let's see if we agree with this, that it actually says no member of the committee should be involved in either residential business unit development for commercial purposes or the estate agency business dealing with properties or developments within the parish of Shenley. Now, it has been suggested that we actually increase that to say in Hartsmere, instead of just within the parish of Shenley. We say within Hartsmere. Views, please, with regard to that. I'll read it again. Yes, so no member of the committee should be involved in either residential business unit development for commercial purposes or the estate agency business dealing with properties and developments within, we either say within the parish of Shenley or we say in Hartsmere. Because I think that, yeah,
I personally think for the Shenley Parish Council should be in the parish of Shenley,
okay,
personally.
yeah, absolutely, that's fair enough. Other views?
Fine.
Anthony? Yeah. Annie?
Well, we are parish councillors for Shenley.
Yeah,
So we
fair
don't
enough.
have parish
Yeah,
council.
fair enough. Fair enough, Gavin?
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, Rosemary? Yeah, William?
Well, I just like that read out really slowly. but-
Yes, of course. So, no member of the committee. We've got that bit, sorry. Should be involved in either residential stroke business unit development, commercial
Business
purposes.
unit development.
Yes,
Yeah.
for commercial purposes. Or the estate agency business.
Yeah.
Dealing with properties or developments.
Yeah.
Within the parish of Shenley.
We have to, Amanda, do we have to be more specific and say whether those dealing with properties or developments, do we have to specify or be super clear on whether it's residential or commercial?
I don't believe so.
Just for clarity, so there's no
It's
ambiguity.
entirely up to you if you want to clarify.
You have actually covered that in that sentence.
Yeah, we have.
Because you said about commercial units and estate agents. So it is covered, Sharon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As always, if there's any errors on the minutes, please let me know.
And listen, the reason for pushing this is I think that we have to go by what a reasonable man would think in terms of conflict of interest, and it really is clear from the feedback that we have had, particularly over the last 9 months, that that aspect is a problem. So it's just much better if we're absolutely clear, because there has been so much comment about it that we're clear about it, and then we're not going to have problems. So is everybody happy with that?
Yes, agreed.
Agreed. Thank you. So now, this is a new one, staffing committee. In terms of the staffing committee, is this how is, just because I don't know, how has this come about?
This is something I've spoken to the
Yeah.
the Hearts Association of Parish and Town Councils, and when they realised we don't have a staffing committee,
Yeah.
they were quite surprised. Yes, I appreciate I am one member of staff.
Well, that doesn't,
Amanda needs So if Amanda's got an issue or something, she needs to have somewhere that she can go, that she can go to.
That's perfectly fair enough. Yeah, perfectly fair enough. So it is suggesting here 4 councillors, and the terms of reference can be agreed at its first meeting.
Yeah, I'll pull something together,
Yeah.
basically adulterate somebody else's, and then you can mess around with that as you do, you know, that's interesting.
I hope that you will understand me sort of saying that with regard to the committee members, that it wouldn't be appropriate because of friendships. Justin, Natalie.
It's going to really annoy me if you just don't get my name right.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Justin. I'm so sorry.
Do you know, I've got a friend Justin, and I'm saying I'm so sorry. I think that's right.
Yes.
Vicky,
Yeah.
Vicky, before you say that, why don't you just ask who would be interested in going on?
Yes, of course. I'm saying for now, who will be interested in?
I nominate Annie, because it seems to be caused conflict of interest. I think Annie would be.
Sorry, what is?
It's a committee which is effectively, I'd say confidential, that Amanda could identify 1 or 4 members if there is a problem that she can go to in confidence formally to address.
We put down 4 members.
Maybe
It
it
doesn't
is. I'm
need to
happy
be 4
with that.
members,
I'm
it
happy
could be
with
3 members. It really doesn't have to be. The only thing that I would say is, I don't think Nikki should be on it, purely because if anything, God forbid, anything ever happened, it needs to be able to be escalated.
It needs an appeal process.
Thank you. So Rosemary, Sharon, and Anthony, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that okay? So if I take it down to comprising of 3?
How would you name 4? 2.
Yeah, 2.
Too small.
2.
Well, then take it to 4. Take it back to 4. Is there anyone else who wants to go on it?
Annie?
Gavin, would you go on the personnel committee, the staff committee? No.
I would be the wrong person.
Just check with Amanda.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I've done it twice. And that was the third time. Take it outside. It has to be
So there's 4 people, so we've got Rosemary, Sharon, Anthony, and Annie.
Okay.
And not Catherine.
No, no. I don't work well with women like
You can't say that, Catherine.
I can't, just do it.
Yeah,
We are being recorded.
Can we move? Sorry, everybody. Sorry, we don't want to make this meeting any longer, do we? Because of this, than we need to. So then we go on to the working groups. And so if we go to the first one, they do have powers to co-opt or consult with other members of the public, with any members of the public. So if we start with future initiative, and it comprises usually of 5 councillors, the group will also be responsible for annual citizens, senior citizens, summer outing, cultural trips and Christmas outing, all granted by the parish council. So as it stands at the moment, we've got Justine, and Annie, Gavin, and Natalie. So would you all like to?
I'm happy, and I'd like to propose William to be the 5th member because he's been really involved in that as well.
Yes.
It's something that I always used to be on as well, so I wouldn't mind it. It doesn't matter actually if there's an extra one, does it? So, no, but it doesn't matter, William. Why can't you be on as well? There's no problem with that. It's just so if that's sorted, everybody happy with that one?
Yeah.
Then we'll go on to media working group comprising of usually 1 to 3 councillors and 3 members. So currently we've got Justine, Annie, me.
I think Natalie would be good at that.
Diane.
No, I would probably that I'm actually really not good at things like that, but thank you for your faith in me. I'm really not.
I mean, this is where we say it's a question of, you know, who's interested, who would like to.
Yeah.
Be
You're
interested.
interested,
You're like,
yeah.
yes, that's the thing. So is anybody else interested?
Can I suggest Sharon, because I know she does that sort of thing.
Certainly, you want to overcommit, let's
No,
get
no, I
started
think
on those
that's
two things,
fair
and then
enough.
if I feel I can take on a little bit, maybe working group, then help, then I will, but I don't want to overcommit.
I mean,
and deliver.
Again, that is the thing, there's no reason why, sort of, you know, later on somebody thinks actually, yes, I would like to, there's no reason, is there, why we can't, actually? Yeah, so, no, so in that case, is it remaining, as is, except of course now I'm sort of being, I'm now a council member, so we've got Justine said yes, haven't you, Annie and myself. And then as far as I know, Diane's happy. Actually, Matt hasn't, I have to speak to Matt again because he was, but that was a while ago. He hasn't really been active with it, but of course he's very good with Facebook, isn't he? So, I mean, really, it'd be quite good if we could get him to get interested again. So we'll ask him again. So is everybody happy with that? Right, okay, then let's move on to neighbourhood plan. So there isn't going to be too much that the neighbourhood plan group will have to actually do at the moment, but you know, it's best obviously if we keep it there so that when we do need to do something, we're ready to go. There are obviously the most important thing is the monitoring. So at the moment we have well, we don't have Jonathan anymore because he left. We've got Rosemary, Annie, Gavin, and William. Obviously, you came off it in the summer. So that's who we have at the moment. So, is there anybody else that is interested in being part of the neighbourhood plan? No. No. Sharon. Sorry, Sharon. Sorry. Yes, of course.
Sharon needs to be added on to that one.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Lovely.
Okay, then we move on to the next one is appointment nomination of members representatives to serve on the outside bodies. So
Sorry, can I ask a question that isn't on here, which was from last time? Because I took over from Nigel in terms of sort of police liaison. Is that
CSD?
what is that?
And we only said that was no longer in existence.
Yes, CSP doesn't exist, and Anthony, CSP doesn't exist anymore, does it? So there were no, the community safety partnership doesn't exist. Safety partnership? Yeah. Did it have a meeting this year? No, sorry.
So in terms of the
Yeah.
as well, or DCSO, it could be anybody?
Yeah.
No, just.
Yes.
no, so that's no. Right, so we'll move on to Shenley Village Hall Management Committee. There's one councillor. Gavin, are you happy to continue with that? I take it with that one, there's only one that there can be only one, right?
Can I ask a question at this point, please? Have there been any
No.
meetings?
No.
That needs to be.
Can you, like,
Who's the contact person?
Jay, I'll forward your details on again.
it'd be good to be getting
Yeah,
involved in
definitely,
it?
Natalie. Yes, definitely. Yes, that's going to be changed. I know, I totally agree. Shenley Park Trust. Right, so as it stands at the moment, we've got two councillors for a 2-year period, and it's actually Annie and Rosemary.
I'm gonna need you back, Nicky.
I think they would absolutely, can you just look at that?
Parish, not that far.
No, I know, but to be honest, if,
Let's move on.
yeah.
I've done my turn.
So we need somebody.
I propose Nicky.
Well, I'm on it.
No.
I'm on it
Yeah.
as a borough representative. so-
Well,
I chose
actually,
not to.
listen, you know who I was thinking would actually the good new person?
No, I can hear my husband on Zoom going, stop raising your hand.
You're, Justin, is it something I consider?
Just can't at the moment.
No, fair enough. Fair enough, because I mean, look, we need to have two, because, look, things need to, there are issues.
Yeah.
So, but, the trouble is, I honestly think, because as you know, I did resign, and I just think that I'm not. Yes, I know, but.
I think you should try again.
But can you imagine?
You know what, unfortunately, we have to put personal things aside.
Oh, I do agree, but would you not?
No, well, I could go on it as a borough representative.
Would you?
But would I not, Seamus is kind of doing like doing the other place with Anthony at the moment. Seamus has asked me, but I've asked Seamus to continue.
Well, if Seamus continues in the
Yeah,
borough, well,
true.
that means you could do it as a parish
No,
council.
I wouldn't, I would do it as a borough councillor, not as, so I'm out of the picture.
Sharon.
Yeah, sorry, Dr. Your straw.
I mean, in terms of meetings, there aren't so many meetings, but it's just that, I mean, I do.
You can't tell me. It's not a difficult position.
Perhaps if I,
Brian, I'm sorry.
if I can just,
Yes,
just make a
Sharon, I think it would be very good,
I
and
do.
I think you'd enjoy it.
Well done.
share.
Nikki.
I'm sorry,
I
Anthony.
just want to make a point. One of the things that we do as a representative in the borough is to get grant money.
Yeah.
And we make quite a bit of money on development tax, which is CIL, Community Infrastructure Levy, or Section 106 monies. Quite a lot of that goes to the council, and that money is up for, if you like, for the parish councils to bid for community investment. And one of the things that we managed to do was to get money for the park. And you notice that we've got a new entrance in the park at the moment, where the entrance was widened for safety reasons, and also we put in a new road into the park, leading into the park, and that cost £30,000, which we got grant funding for. Also, within that funding, we put up new greenhouses. In those greenhouses at the moment, they're growing chili plants and selling them.
I think you said marijuana.
It's not.
Hopefully,
It's
no.
chili.
Then
It's
we have to
chilies.
recommend CSP.
And
Awesome.
they're doing a good job. They're doing a good job, actually.
Okay, great.
Well, listen, thank you, Anthony, and thank you, Sharon. So it's going to be Sharon and Rosemary.
Lovely.
Thank you.
As my term has expired, May 2021, do I actually have to contact the trust?
I'll do it for you.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much.
And they'll take you off as a director, so as a trustee.
Yes, I just said there was no.
yeah,
further.
I contact all these out.
They do the forms.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Do you think it means you need to raise your hand for something, Annie, though, now that you're off that?
Well, the next thing we have is the Sir Richard Cox charity.
I like to do something like that.
I'd love to stay on it. I'd love to.
No, it is. I don't particularly agree.
What I was wondering was that if Nikki wanted to remain on it, I wonder if you can remain on it, but not in your parish council capacity. I mean, as a trustee, I suppose you can do.
You can have as many councillors as you want anyway.
No, so that's fine, isn't it?
Yeah, but we don't want it massive, do we? We want it.
No. But there's no reason why actually if you want
Yeah.
No, I like to do it. It's something new.
It's lovely.
It is, it really is a worthwhile thing. So, Anthony for that as well. So, Natalie, you're good to do it. Rosemary's good to do it. myself, Anthony, and of course we have Liz on it, who provides a sort of wonderful local knowledge.
She's invaluable.
She is, absolutely. So, we're into other business, moving on to, we've got to review, approve and adopt the financial regulations.
Can I read it? No. Could you want to move it to Rosemary? She wants to propose it.
Let the proposal be accepted.
Yeah, I second that.
Thank you.
Review, approve and adopt financial risk register.
Okay. Agreed.
Yes.
Review, approve and adopt standing orders.
Yep.
Review, approve and adopt code of conduct. Everybody happy with that?
Yes.
Yeah. To note the Nolan principles.
Noted.
Noted. Can I ask a question about the Nolan principles? How do they play into things like the standards committee? So when complaints are raised and they involve are the Nolan principles part of what can be involved in that? So if we have to uphold the code of conduct and we break the code of conduct somewhere and a complaint is raised, and it goes to the committee at HBC, can you also be brought up for breaking a Nolan principle, and is that enforceable by the standards committee?
It is, yeah. So Hartsmere is the monitoring officer.
Is it, because I've asked this question, I've asked Councillor Bright, and I didn't get an answer. And so do you know, Amanda, if this is in play? Because there's a lot of talk about the Nolan principles, but I don't know if they are something that HBC enforces in practice.
I will happily email,
Yeah, Harvey, yeah.
email.
They're supposed to be principles that everybody in public life, whatever level you're at, whether you're council.
And as a member, you work.
No, I understand, and I admire them, but I just think when I know that in certain situations when it came to that being cited, that they weren't enforced at that time, that they weren't brought up.
I think they're more subjective than the code of conduct. That makes sense. The code of conduct is more thou shalt not do.
Well, but the HBC didn't enforce them at the time, so I was just wondering where they play.
Let's find out the answers.
We will find out.
Awesome, thank you.
Well, we'll listen.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next one is to note guidance on declaration of interest at meetings.
Sorry, can I go back a step?
Yes, certainly.
Did we note the Nolan principles? We discussed it, but did we note it?
I think somebody did.
Yes.
No, we, okay, fine, so I'm just checking.
Rosemary said. Is everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Fine. Okay then. So next one is to note guidance on declarations of interests at meetings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, noted.
Review, approve and adopt health and safety policy. That was sent as a PDF. Yes. Yes.
Agreed.
Review, approve and adopt internal financial controls.
Agreed.
Review, approve and adopt direct debits. Everyone happy with that?
Yep.
Review, approve and adopt information and data protection policy. And that was sent as a
Agreed.
Review, approve and adopt retention and disposal policy.
Agreed.
Review, approve and adopt publication scheme.
Agreed.
Review, approve and adopt grant rewarding policy.
Agree.
And the next one is general power and competence. Council to resolve and confirm conditions of eligibility. I can't say.
Eligibility.
Thank you, dyslexia. For the general power and competence of the Government Act 2001, requirements being CILCA 0.5. And 2/3 of the councillors have been elected. So that's where I agree with that. So everybody happy with regard to the meeting dates?
Can I ask a question? Do we need, given that we've had a meeting today and it's obviously appointed all the committees, if we have, I think, it's next Tuesday is the first, do we need that? Is it enough time
The problem is we're not, because obviously we're having to go quickly through this. What, I mean, what does everybody think? I mean, I think it's too soon next week.
Can I make a suggestion? Because we've got June meeting and July meeting.
Yes.
Then we have the August one.
August one.
So because we're having this at the end of the month now, because of all the complications of COVID, could we perhaps move the June and July meetings to the end of the month? Then we've got the whole month off anyway, and we can start back at our first Tuesday after that.
So the first Tuesday in September is a Jewish holiday, New Year, so we need to move that one. Otherwise, I don't think we'd be quorum.
Do that one out.
What people want to do, so that would mean that we still have about a month between June and
Seems
July.
to make sense, instead of having a 2 months,
Yeah.
we have 5 weeks.
Yeah.
It's a terrible thing.
For the July meeting, there's a good chance that I'll be away on
Six
Sunday,
is like
from the 20th.
Yeah.
So if we cannot have it at the end of the month, I'd like, that would be great, if we could have it the week before.
Mid.
Yeah, mid-month.
I don't know actually what my diary is like if we
You could have the June meeting on the 22nd of June. Therefore, allowing you to have July meeting, when you're away, Sharon?
Probably from the, what is the 20th? Is it
The 20th is a Tuesday,
yeah, away from the 20th,
so it would be the
week before would be great.
14th. That would be
Again, I'm
14th of
I
July.
can't do the 14th. That's a Wednesday.
No, it's Tuesday. Oh, 13th, excuse me.
Yeah, 13th. I've got a borough meeting on the 14th.
Can you do the 13th?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then,
So when have we moved, if we move the June one, all that's.
yeah, the June one would be to the 22nd of June.
And then you're talking about the
I won't be
13th
here
of
for
July.
Yeah, that way.
Sorry, I won't be for that one.
Which one?
I have the 22nd of June, apologies, I have a work commitment.
Oh, so on the 13th of July.
Yeah,
Yeah, that one.
and then September.
Then the 9th of September is a Thursday, the 9th of September, or the next week. Rosh Hashanah's 6th, 7th,
May, isn't it?
Monday the 6th until evening of Wednesday the 8th.
Yeah, so, and what about Tuesday, no, that's, well, that wasn't Tuesday, remember, Tuesday 14th. Is that okay?
Of September,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Any chance that we can adjust the 22nd of June to, is that a Tuesday? Sorry, to, a couple days later or the following week?
Whatever you wish to do, 23rd, on the 22nd?
No, got a borough thing, and we'll have that as well.
What about the 29th? Of June? Tuesday the 29th?
There's the July meeting.
13th, then we sort of move them close again, aren't we? Then we might as well.
Sorry, fine. Thursday the 17th? Or Tuesday the 15th?
15?
Uh,
15.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's two, yeah.
It's sort of a
2 weeks.
bit closer,
3 weeks.
or rather, you know, then there's more or less a month, isn't there, between?
So just to clarify, that's the 15th, there are all Tuesdays, is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Is it possible to check if for some reason, I know I have 2 events back to back, one the week before and one the next week.
Just to make it aware,
Yeah,
if you're not able to make a meeting, it's only if you cannot make 6 consecutive meetings that there's ever an issue.
right, but can I attend by Zoom if
You can attend, but unfortunately, you wouldn't be noted as you are present. So you can
Okay,
attend to view,
okay,
but not to
but not
participate.
participate, okay.
Because it's fairly taken that not all members are going to be able to attend every meeting.
Matt, what was it, 15th of June, 13th of
15th
July?
of June, 13th of July,
14th of
regular
September.
September, and Tuesday the 14th of September.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
That's perfect. So everybody happy with that? Right, okay, so we move on to receive the minutes. Parish Council, held on the 6th of April. Is everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Yes, I will.
Sign the first page, and issue the rest.
Okay.
Yep, is that right?
Tell us, so we- and then there's people that are in there.
So, we can look through the action plan. Meeting, so that was right. Again, on that sort of the action list, isn't it? That we're looking at the bottom there. So really, that's to do with the isn't it, the Zoom license and the YouTube and
So we're now on our red license.
Yes.
Excellent.
That's what I'm on, yeah.
So just for the benefit of everybody at home, we now have our own Zoom license, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
so everyone's happy with that. That's been sorted. Yeah, perfect.
Do we have our own YouTube channel too?
We have a YouTube account, but let's see how we go with that.
Yeah.
Upload video, and also I'll send the, sorry? Okay, I'll send the video to Dee, and see if he can put it on our website.
Yeah, he just needs to, all he needs to do is just put the link to the YouTube on if you like, as opposed to the whole part for YouTube.
Yeah.
I was then going to leave it, when it's uploaded, to basically leave it there forever, so if anybody wants to go back 3 months.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so for as long as
Yeah.
wherever the YouTube account exists.
So, so videos of council meetings, as you say, it's that's all going to be dealt with. Wonderful. Chris, have we got any questions of residents that we have
Nobody
to?
sent any questions in advance to myself.
There's a couple of things on the minutes that we haven't, that didn't end up on sort of on the action list, but I think maybe parking on Harris Lane, we agreed that laminated signs be put up along the grass verge.
Yeah, we need to do that.
Can I start that tonight when I came down there and saying, it's full of cars. And I wasn't.
Probably for the building
Going
crew.
for
They were nicely and orderly parked. None of
They
them.
were, it was kind of, are they on Oxford land or around? Did there anybody?
It's Harsham's land.
It's half the land on the request.
Okay, so did anybody let you know?
Yes, okay, they will be, we were contacted with regard to building on Hillcrest. I informed them that it is not parish council land, that it is that field is actually Hartsmith. They contacted Hartsmith, Hartsmith gave them approval, Arts then contacted residents.
No, the film company contacted the residents.
I'm sorry.
That's right, that's what, just,
Yeah,
that's right, yeah.
So how long did it
Till, was it
July.
Yeah, a long time.
What other things?
Anyone spotted Nigel's charm?
They're actually not filming.
No.
He's in it. He watched
That's
the
their
same
face.
film.
Well, they actually, what they filming?
The Cockfields.
Who?
It's a comedy with Diane Morgan and Nigel Havers.
What's
Sarah
it
Sarah Parish was in it. wasn't it? The
No
Cockfields.
group is, please.
Yes, I might just take a walk. No, they were all parked well, so whoever's given it the three-line whip about staying off the pavement, they've all done very well today.
So they're going to, so we're seeing parking like that for the next.
Randomly, they haven't been every day. It hasn't been every day. That was the first time I saw that line of cars.
Well, that's good, because I put in a complaint the other day,
Cool.
because I've been contacted by neighbours, so hopefully that's
Yeah.
had some effect.
Yeah. So, it's more I think it's more the Sunday, Saturday parking. Okay, and is there any update on what's happened with the Wildwood Den equipment? They contacted. Did they not get in contact?
I mean, last time, I think we said to them, go away, come back with a proposal.
Yes,
And I
yes.
haven't heard anything.
Okay. Thank you.
I mean, do you know, we're supposed to be helping, actually, Katrina Shenley is supposed to do groundworks. Are supposed to be helping, aren't they, the school? On the 1st of June, we've been asked to go along as a group to help them do something, I think, to do that. So, we'll find out. Yeah. Right, so moving on. Reverend McCarthy. It's such a shame.
Oh,
that he's-
Now, I want to put that on the agenda just so that.
Yeah.
He's been such a special guy to the community, and I've just never met anyone else that, with his cheerfulness and everything that he's been through over the last few years. I've never seen him without a smile on his face. He's never said, no, I can't do it. He's always there, at the forefront of getting things done, and super guy, and I think it's just such an incredibly sad loss for the Shenley community. It's it's a shame to the church that they're losing him, and it's going to be one massive game for Newcastle, I think, because I'm sure without any shadow of doubt it's going to find a fantastic role up there. And we have bought something for him, an inscribed cards.
Oh, great, class, yeah, which we'll be able to deliver to him
We will
this
deliver to him
weekend.
this weekend, because I think it's due off again.
Yeah. So William and I will drop that off to him.
Oh, that's
all
lovely.
right, it's really lovely.
Promotions.
No, his wife's got a role up there, and they're all going up there. But say it's such a sad loss for the community.
I think he told me he was having a sabbatical. And then obviously he'll find out. Because he's going to support.
Yeah, he's had, his health and that, so they're really much time, so. Yeah, it's sad that the church couldn't find an appointment near home, near here, so they could have saved it.
And we've got to support them tomorrow evening, haven't we? Because Rabbi.
Oh, yeah.
So that's tomorrow evening. I think it's 8 o'clock, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that would be well worth.
They're a great guy.
They are. They're superb. No, it's a shame. So if that's all dealt with, is it? The voting council you've organised that, we don't need to. Thank you. That's marvellous. So in which case we'll go on to consider and agree parish matters and responses to the following. So the keep tidy. signage update.
Which I know Julie loves the copies of home.
I think it looks really good.
Thank you very much.
Just walk around the edges.
Yes, thank you very much for reading that.
I thought they looked really good.
They do.
What they did, you can thank my 14-year-old daughter for the design. So we have a bin on one side, and a picture of a bin, and then on the other it's not a bin, and it's a picture of a country lane, and then underneath it is Annie's strap line, "Don't be a litter lout." So what I wanted to ask was, what's the, I think Annie, you told me once there's some sort of like discretionary spend that we don't have to get the whole world to sign off on. expression, that we can, is there an amount that we can spend to get these printed, or do I have to bring the quotes in and get them signed off, or is there a limit? Okay, I'll make sure we come in under that. And I'll speak to you separately about how we arrange that, maybe how that kind of thing is done.
The easiest thing to do is to work via, is it still inventory? They're not called, no, Catherine, and then invoice us.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's quite straightforward.
okay, so,
You've got permission for where you're putting them up, or is
Yeah,
it?
we just can't put them on any.
we're putting them in places that we would need, we were not putting them in places that we would need permission.
Okay, that's what, yeah,
Yes.
just checking.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah, so for instance, if you put them on fields at Hillcrest, because that belongs to Hartsmith Borough Council.
Right, but the front parts that we own.
So anything that the parish council owns, fill your boots, but, yeah, so just, and obviously not attached to road signs or lamp posts
Yes,
without permission.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, no,
Yes,
I don't want to get in trouble.
that
Yeah.
rules. I suspect there might be one or two places where we err, and we'll have to apologize, but we'll be happy to do that when we end.
Thank you very
We
much.
shall spend the weekend out with zip ties, screwdrivers, and a ladder.
That's it.
For you. Great, so we're away, and while I was on a trip recently, I found a very clever one for dog poo, which will be our next project. So there we go, we'll get those around the village.
But no, well, listen, that's super. Thank you both very much indeed. So
And
look
around
forward
the
to
parish,
seeing you
actually,
around.
remember to leave it just to the village of being heritage. It'll be, the main focus will be on the roads, the inroads to the, into the parish and, it's like Rectory Lane and.
To be honest, probably where we get the
Yes,
biggest
pretty
collection.
much where ACS is,
Yeah.
we'll coordinate with them where their big pickups are, and
So we can turn
head
it
down
down.
there. Yes.
Actually, I'm all aboard. Thank you very much indeed. That's marvellous. Allotments and horticultural sheds.
Yeah, I speak on that.
What's Rosemary?
But I sent it to the email because I went round there last week. So it's very sad, the Horticultural Society has decided to close because they're all getting elderly and they haven't been able to find any younger volunteers. So one of the things that they wanted to do, they've got 3 sheds on the allotment fields, the sheds that belong to the Horticultural Society. Of course, the allotment field they stand on belong to us. And they'd like to donate them to us. I went and had a look. They were concerned that if they had to knock them down, it would be an issue because they think it might have asbestos roofing, which it might, because it's got a standard corrugated type roof. But it's, they're in pretty good nick. I mean, if somebody was going to give them to me to store stuff in, I'd be more than happy. But of course, it's up to you guys. I think what they really wanted reassurance is that they haven't been able to have any members for the last year because of COVID, so they haven't got any funds. It kind of seems a bit mad to knock something down which the community could use. And Natalie's emailed me about.
Yeah, no, I think it's great if we can keep them, but I think it would be due diligence to check the cost of insurance, and if it is not prohibitive, because I think before we go down the route, we don't want to say we do it and all of a sudden.
Can I just say that
Yeah.
they're going to reinsure them. Their insurance is due up in July.
Yeah.
They're going to reinsure them, so they'll be insured till July next year.
And do we know the cost of that insurance?
It can't be very much.
No. I think it's just due
Yeah.
diligence that we are aware of what it is going to cost moving forward.
Well, to be fair, we can probably add on our insurance
Yeah.
less money than they put on their insurance, so
Yeah,
let's
cost
say
of
something is.
Yeah, but I did kind of indicate to them that, but at the moment, that's their plan. So
Can't we just let the allotment, can't we sort of just pass over to the allotment?
So she did say that Simon G, who we know because of the allotment committee, had indicated that perhaps they'd like to run something. That there was an issue that maybe I would suggest that we consider this as the meeting and then come back with ideas, because what the allotment committee, the Horticultural Society did whereas they had sods and that, and then they were able to purchase bulk gardening stuff, which is what was in the sheds, and then they'd sell that on at cost to the people in the allotment. So it's a lot easier because you just take it from the shed rather than getting it from B&Q or wherever. So there is an indication that some of the current allotment holders would like to do that. And I thought maybe it's something that we could, I asked how much they spend in go to get stock to the shed, and it's about £500. So it's something we may consider. We would aid them in doing. And the other thing is they've got all the stuff for the Horticultural Society show, because you have to have special shaped vases for the narrows, and so they've got all the equipment that again they give to us. And maybe it's an idea that we try and keep at least a mini show going, because they said that they were talking to Vicky about maybe next year having a mini horticultural show as a tent in the Tate.
And they can certainly, we wouldn't have any problem. I know they wouldn't have any
They've got all the
them doing
equipment,
that.
we've got all the equipment so that
Yeah.
it can be done under national horticultural rules or whatever, because that's all there in the sheds.
Can we go back to the issue that Natalie brought up, which I thought was very good, the due diligence? Do we, before we take it on, do we need to get the building inspected to see if it is
I
fully
did
specified?
say that, and I sort of got beaten down a bit.
So long as you don't
Dis-
touch it.
dismantle them.
it's
Yeah,
absolutely
no,
fine.
as long as you don't drill into it, but I do, I
So
know some
I-
conversation about
But then-
replacing a door.
But then I do agree with Sharon, agreeing with myself before that I think it would be good to have a little survey on them, actually to see that,
How we're.
to actually, because, yeah, just do a risk assessment, because we don't want to say, well, actually, in 18 months, they're going to need knocking down,
Well,
we're
that's-
left with huge costs.
Yeah, so that's the reason I went there, and it's, you know, there's
Doesn't make sense. That's where I was coming from.
Yeah.
I thought that if we can keep them great, but I don't want to be taking on something that's going to cost us
to the
10, 20, because get rid of asbestos if you have to.
No,
It's
it's
just a bit
exactly.
And
time
it's not,
consuming.
and it's not a
Yeah,
flexible
time
thing, when you're talking about drill, you were talking about replacing that door frame, that would suddenly.
the door frame is well away from, the only possible asbestos is literally the roof.
I know,
I
but we
know,
should
but
still
once
get
you
a-
start, Jimmy, with any part of the fabric of that building, if it has asbestos in it, it's an issue.
Oh, okay. then,
It's
well,
not just drilling into the roof.
And I've seen all that before, which is why I brought it up.
Okay.
So I just think we need to do, in effect, a book survey and just
Get some
check
advice.
what we're taking on
Yeah.
is gonna not end up
Otherwise,
biting
you
us
just
in
end up with another
the problem.
non-ability to do it strongly. So, I mean, if you look at something like, in Harris Lake, you sort of ended up with a building that's not really fit for purpose. It's
Well,
just-
yeah.
But that was
That's where I was coming from. I think it's like that.
Maybe you just end up with another liability for a building.
To the unexperienced eye, I do know about stables and things. I keep my horses in there, it's pretty good for me. But yes, I understand.
But let's get a professional eye cast
Yeah.
over it.
Contact
Well,
us
no,
with
no,
our
just
council.
makes sense.
That's-
Yeah.
No, it doesn't, it needs like a building
No,
inspector.
no, we need to get a
Yeah.
proper
Building
surveyor.
Yeah.
Hardware engineering probably do it.
Yes.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Like I said, hardware engineering probably do it.
I mean, to be honest, it was offered, they were offered to the Pate Committee, and for the very reasons you're saying, we've decided, no, we didn't take it on. We've got the containers, and we have to carry
Now,
on doing
Richard
that.
first.
Sorry?
We don't want sloppy seconds.
Everybody upset.
No, I mean, we don't actually own anything, we don't even own Amanda's ex-toilet, do we?
No.
Apart from the pavilion, and that's in the state, so, there's quite a few things that you could probably do, because there are three, and they're decent size. So even if they do run a little bit of an allotment thing there, there's plenty of.
Yeah, but let's
space.
just
Well, the other-
check
the
what
other
we're
option
taking
is-
on.
The other option is to take, look, if we wanted some decent storage spaces, to take one or all of them back, demolish them, and build something that's fit for purpose for storage, or whatever else you want to do, as opposed to.
That's why I do a
taking
whole
on an
survey and find out
application.
what our options are.
Because we do need to look at storage and stuff, things like that, because storing stuff in the pavilion,
Can we
it's
just,
sort of.
can you just, have a provisional, it's just that I know because some of the people involved are politely saying quite elderly. now.
Yeah, no, I get that.
So it'd be nice, I did say that I was going to talk to you all positively, I think it would be a bit of a relief for them to know that the chances are probably.
Well, I would just say, I would head that by pending, subject to.
Investigation.
Yeah, I wouldn't get too your words.
We haven't said no,
No.
but we are just investigating, because this is the public's money that we're dealing with, and we have to make sure that we're
Absolutely.
taking on a prudent
100%.
gift that isn't going to bite us in the bum.
The interesting thing is they think that the big one actually belongs to us anyway, because they think we funded it. But I don't think we've got the.
And it's on that, is it?
It's all on that, yes.
Yeah.
So that's the
They're not
irony.
really giving it back anyway, so I think.
But yeah, well, they were renting their land.
Well, it's true, so if they walked away, anyway, so actually.
Oh, it's a good
It's our
opportunity to have a survey
So we
now.
know.
Right?
So if we said no, they walked away from it, so actually it's making a difference.
So can we then at least communicate that to them, so they can just have a brief story of relief, because that's how.
But it is a good opportunity to now actually look at them.
Yeah, because there's other things that we can do with it, but if we.
They're not going to change
Yeah, it's ours anyway, so it's a bit academic discussion. But it would make sense to investigate what we should do with those buildings anyway.
They need, you're going to need a risk assessment.
So first step, report, but as you say, sort of communicate back with them sort of nicely.